I'm Trevor Freeman, the man on the street. Today we speak to Paul Lagrou, a resource advocate for the Women's Center, which operates out of the Harbor House, about several issues profoundly affecting the Marquette County community: homelessness, domestic violence, and sexual assault. In our conversation, we delve into three distinct organizations: the Room at the Inn, the Women's Center, and the Harbor House, discussing the vital services that they provide for those in need. Please be aware that this segment addresses sensitive issues and viewer discretion is advised. How do people find themselves in situations that they get put in these?
For homeless, you can get homeless in a variety of different ways. The most common ways at the Room at the Inn is you lose a job, you get sick and can't work, you have a fire and your house burns down, and you lost all your resources, so you don't have a big savings account. Where do you go? I moved here, I don't have any friends or family. Room at the Inn is it. You come to the Room at the Inn. How you get into the Harbor House, which is the domestic violence or sexual assault shelters, is if you experience violence through intimate partner relationships. So we have to be a couple. My partner throws me out the door, breaks my shoulder, kicks me in the face, breaks a tooth, and hits me at the club and breaks a hip, or wakes me up with sex and rapes me while I'm sleeping. All those things would allow you to come into something like the Harbor House. Both organizations do more or less the same thing. We're going to make sure you're safe, make sure you have food, make sure you have shelter, make sure you have clothing. Because when you flee these situations, you generally take what you get. It's like having a fire. I got 5 seconds to get my stuff and get out. What do you take? You take your wallet, you take some clothes and a bag, and you run. Yeah. You may not have your social security card, you may not have your birth certificate, so we all help you get those things. You may not have a job, you may not have any money, so we help you get a job, or we help you get the things you need to do to get a job, some training. And that might include referrals to like Michigan Rehab or a variety of different places. Yeah. And then we also help with housing. They have housing specialists at Room at the Inn, and then we have housing specialists over at the Women's Center. And our job is to find those places where people can go to. And then we help the people fill out the applications and find funding. A lot of the issue is if you don't have a source of income, how are you going to pay for a house? Yeah. Say you have a mental health issue, you're recovering for something, you don't have any documentation because you had to leave so fast. So that's where the state comes in, and we help them apply for state aid until they can earn enough income to pay for their own expenses.
So you guys actually, there is people out there that will go out of their way to try and help you out. So it's like, you don't necessarily have to be the one to go right to the shelter and do everything right there.
It's really just a call.
Okay.
You call the Women's Center, you call the Room at the Inn, and we'll extend help.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we have a lot of community partners. A lot of churches are fantastic about helping with people, especially getting that down payment. Room at the Inn provides breakfast and dinner, so you always have a place to find food. Salvation Army does lunches almost every day.
What would you say to people out there that might just be a little bit nervous or a little bit scared to try and make that next step to start this process?
Room at the Inn and the Women's Center have very, very strict confidentiality rules. We cannot share information about anybody without their express written permission. So if you call us, it's entirely confidential. Even if you're a juvenile, we can't tell your parents. We can't tell the police. But we can't share any information about what you're saying with anybody.
Would you say that there's more or less than what a lot of the viewers at home would even imagine that this is happening right here where we live? I mean, this happens every single day, right? This is a very normal thing. There's no reason to be nervous or skittish about any of this stuff.
No, there's no reason to be afraid, because everything you do is, we're not going to tell anybody about you. You don't even have to come and meet us at the Women's Center or at the Room. Then we can meet you at a public place. We can go to lunch together and just talk about things, where you're at, talk about your feelings, talk about where you're going to go next, provide resources, help you find the job or the apartment. We can do it in the community. And a lot of times, some of our workers will even they'll meet you at where you're staying.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
that's awesome.
There's a lot of opportunities. For need, there's 90 people in the county who are homeless and 17 families.
Wow. Okay. So
and that's just in Marquette County, which is a small population, but there's a need even now.